Let's begin.
Here we go! Hi, everybody!
Start the insanity.
You are not worried, are you?
Me? No.
Well, we're waiting.
Hello, welcome to Super Media All-Stars. We are a weekly podcast, and today we are talking about movies. I'm your host, John Harris. I'm joined by two other All-Stars. First one being Jake Boston.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Spider-Man, Spider-Man.
And Anthony Borich.
In mint condition.
You broke my Batmobile.
Broke or made it better?
One of the best Stan Lee cameos ever.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I'm sure I used that before, but I'd love it too
I don't
much.
think you have.
Maybe not him humming, but I've used the Stan Lee came back. Stan Lee never left.
So, we just played two different Spider-Man intros. Which one do
Right?
you like better? Do you like the old school Spider-Man intro, or do you like the Joe Perry from Arrow House 90s version of Spider-Man?
I like both.
I mean,
Which one do you like better,
Oh, well,
John? They're both amazing. We get this.
Probably the 90s.
I grew up with that one.
Yeah.
But the first one, the old one, is so, or the second one is so iconic. Or the
That's
first
true.
one that came out in the 60s, I think.
Yeah, like 69.
Late 60s?
Yeah. That's exactly what we're talking about today, because, guys, we got a special episode. We're going over to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
This year, we already talked about Spider-Man, the video game, and we talked about video game history in Spider-Man.
We did.
We can't get enough of Spider-Man this year, and I love talking about it. Anything, the history of Spider-Man, like this movie just encapsulates everything. It's amazing.
If you haven't seen this movie, you're going to stay towards to this podcast, because we got a lot of good things. This movie does so many things that we got to dissect. We're going to talk about it today. But before we get to all that good stuff, and believe me, there's going to be a lot of good stuff there. Guys, it's been, Anthony, you've been on a while. Jake, it's been about a week and a half since we talked movies, but have you guys got a chance to check out anything podcast worthy?
I'll start out with a bang. Let me tell you, I don't think I've talked about this yet. I watched it like a month ago.
Okay.
Adam Sandler has a Netflix special.
Of course he
A
does.
stand-up Netflix special, which he hasn't done stand-up in years.
Right.
Because me, growing up in the rough streets of Runnels, Iowa, I listened to a lot of stand-up from Adam Sandler. He made like 3 or 4 different comedy CDs,
Yeah.
and they were the best.
they were funny.
But this is sporadic, and I wasn't liking it. But then the last hour takes like actual big chunks, like 10-minute joke chunks. And they're so fucking good. Like, there's a spot in this where I almost teared up, and I never tear up for anything. He makes a song about Chris Farley.
Oh, really?
It's really good. It's really good.
Oh, I do need to go check
Tear
it
up
out.
from humor or tear up from memories?
Both.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. If Adam Sandler can do anything right, he can make a funny song.
Yes, you can.
Whether he just like does jibber jabber or he actually like he's not a good lyricist, but he makes funny connections every now and again.
Sure.
And the Chris Farley one is the best. One of the best parts of 2018 for me watching anything.
Is this one of the better things he's contributed to Netflix?
This is above and beyond the best stuff he's done for Netflix, just because he hasn't done stand-up forever, and that will always be a soft spot in my heart, like anything that he does with that. And the older he gets, the more he has to talk about that's relatable to me, because I have kids now, and he's talking about his kids, and
Sure.
there's a lot of good stuff. I liked it quite a lot.
Nice.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Wow. It's not bad for an Adam Sandler.
Very
stand-up.
solid. If you can get through the first half hour, it gets way better from there. Because the first half hour, I was like 2 out of 5. I'm like, I hate the way this is edited. It's driving me nuts.
Huh.
It gets way better.
Only had a chance to check out one additional thing since our last podcast, and that was, I'm not sure if you guys seen it promoted on Netflix, but was the Outlaw King, Chris Pine, Aaron
Yeah.
Taylor Johnson.
It's kind of the sequel to Gladiator, correct?
No, Braveheart.
Braveheart, one of the Mel Gibson movies. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's exactly what it is. It's kind of a, I don't know its budget, but it feels like a lower budget Braveheart.
It's a Netflix movie, so I would
Exactly.
assume so.
Chris Pine does a good job as Robert the King or something like that, whatever his name is. But it takes place like pretty much right after William Wallace's story.
The only thing that I've heard about this movie is that Chris Pine does full frontal, or is it just butt?
If I remember correctly, just butt.
Oh, I could have swore you saw some peen in there.
Very graphic. The story is okay. At the end of the day, I actually didn't like care for this movie because I feel like I've seen this movie before. It's not as good as Braveheart. Braveheart did everything better, and Crazy Mel Gibson's way better than. No offense to Chris Pine,
Yeah.
Crazy Mel Gibson's just great. 2 out of 5 for me. I would
Ooh.
yeah, it's below
pretty low.
average. I wouldn't recommend it. Not unless you're for like whatever happened after Braveheart. Maybe you watch The Outlaw King.
Has anybody ever said that?
No, no one has ever said that.
No, but if you needed it, Netflix has got it for you.
Of course they
Thanks,
do.
Netflix.
Let's see. I have been watching. It's the holiday season, so I've been watching all of my holiday TV shows.
Okay.
Catching up on my Simpsons and on the Family Guys and all that. But the one that I've been watching and I've been kind of dragging my feet on, I think you guys hate it, is House of Cards. Season 6 has
They did a holiday special?
No.
Or it's just you're
It's-
catching up on
Yeah,
it?
I
Oh.
haven't seen any of season 6. It's actually been really good.
This is the first season without Kevin Spacey, right?
Yeah.
In the last season.
They brutally
Yeah,
kill
that's
him
true.
pretty fast.
Do they?
Yeah, within the first couple minutes of the episode. So that, and then I watched, which isn't holiday specific, but I watched it again.
Yeah.
God damn, I love that movie. It's
good stuff.
It's so good.
Yeah. I rewatched it a couple months ago too, and it holds up.
Oh,
I'm waiting for the sequel to come a little bit closer before I watch it
I
again.
Next
know.
year.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Backtracking to your House of Cards comment. Did you finish it?
No, not yet.
Okay. Is
Not
it
yet.
without Kevin? Is it still as gripping as the other seasons?
It really is. I mean, you have to watch the other seasons and be invested into it because there's a lot that catches up that they try to tie all together.
Especially
and
with Robin Wright's character.
Yep. And she really does a good job, like being the sole purpose of the show.
Okay.
I love Robin White. I've loved her since Forrest Gump. I
Yeah.
mean, I think she's a great actress. She does a really good job of playing the president and
Yeah.
of someone who is hated.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny because it's kind of like what we're going through now, only a little different.
You'll have to tell me how it ends because I heard, since I don't care about House of Cards, I watched the first episode and it was fine, but I didn't need any more of it. I listened to like a little spoiler discussion on one of the podcasts I listened to, and they were highly disappointed with the finale.
I'm sure. I mean, they just have to end it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's just going to end.
There's so many story beats in that series that'd be hard to tie everything up in a nice.
And I
knot.
heard it doesn't even try.
Yeah.
It just kind of ends.
What's as bad as Sopranos or?
No, Sopranos is brilliant, the ending.
Yes.
And
Some people don't think so.
Yeah, but you've never watched it.
Yeah, it's true.
You need to watch that. I can't believe you don't watch that one.
I haven't watched it either. We've talked about this.
I know, and
It's
so good.
It's been so long since it came out, and there's so much good TV, new TV coming out now that I don't know if I'll ever watch The Sopranos.
You know, I learned something, and this is completely off course here.
Okay.
Great.
You know who hasn't watched any of the How to Train Your Dragons?
Who?
Oh crap.
John?
Does that piss you
Yeah.
off as much
Well,
as it pisses me off?
John isn't a big fan of animated movies to begin with.
That's
we
not
have to
true.
No, we have to drag his ass to a lot of these.
Unless it's
That's definitely true.
Unless it's Pixar, I usually don't make an effort.
Mm-hmm.
Even DreamWorks is kind of like even Illuminations. Like
You love Shrek.
Well, John,
Shrek is like 10 years old now.
you love Shrek?
I like Shrek 2 a lot.
Shrek 2 is
Shrek
good.
2 is really
Shrek
good.
1 does not hold up. I tried it. I tried watching it last year with my kid,
no,
and I'm like, I'm done.
a lot of the jokes fall flat.
So I haven't watched Shrek
But
2.
two's good.
I haven't
2
watched it in a
holds
long
up.
time because if
3's
one
painful.
3 is bad and 4 is okay. Forever After with Zach Galifianakis
It's
as
okay.
Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
I would just say that usually it takes a good conversation around a Disney animated movie to get me there.
This is the best non-Disney
So-
movie.
It is so up your
animated-wise.
alley.
It's so good.
Yeah, like even I like Despicable Me, but I hate it. I didn't really care for 2 or 3.
Well, no, me either. But I feel like if the third How to Train Your Dragon can stick the landing, this will
it's
be
going to.
This will be on par with the Toy Story trilogy.
Yes.
Wow.
It's solid. It's so good. And it's on a different level because Toy Story can be serious, but it's really not the majority of the time.
right.
This feels like an animated series that is done for adults.
Right.
Sure. Yeah, I'll
It's really good.
probably watch the first 2.
And you have 2 dogs. You would love this movie.
Oh,
I know,
There's
I'm
such a pet
oh,
connection
good.
with
yeah,
Toothless.
I know. I'm a big animal advocate in movies.
My daughter is in love with How to Train Your Dragon because I made her in love with it. So when the third movie comes out, we're definitely seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
In February, I think is when it comes
Yep.
out. We're reviewing that, John.
Yes.
I'll be get on
So
board.
you'll have to watch
You
the
need to
first
watch
two.
the first two.
If everybody says I like it, I'll probably enjoy it.
Oh,
You'll have
love
to
it
watch the first
so
two.
much.
Yeah,
And you'll love doing it.
Yes.
I hope so.
So it's not going to be homework.
I'm gonna make you watch those ones.
Can't believe you remember that.
How's The Godfather?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave that to you. John is the godfather of my child.
Don't even watch Godfather 3. Just watch 1 and 2.
I gave him one as a gift for being my godfather.
Oh, I
I
know.
gave him the first one on Blu-ray.
He
and
still hasn't watched it. He
yeah,
won't watch
probably
it.
hasn't
Where's
even opened
at?
it. The fuck?
I've opened it.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. It's actually been in my Xbox.
What? That's the
Just
worst
so he
excuse
could listen
ever.
to the theme song.
I wanted the menu to play. I got enough from that.
I was practicing my Italian mobster.
Okay, give us some of that, John.
No.
No, you already have heard it.
But just for our viewers. I hate this.
Welcome to me the day my godfather's wedding.
God damn it.
Never again.
Your fucking face when
I'm
you do
so
that.
pissed. I wouldn't even look at him.
You look like you have soap in your eyes when you're talking.
That's because of Marlon Brando. He has very squinty eyes in the.
No, he
You've never seen it. How do you know?
have no
He
idea.
squints. It's a very bad Italian mob right there.
God damn it.
Woof.
I immediately regret bringing that up.
I don't. Oh, man.
All right, sorry. Getting back on track here.
Okay. I have a TV show and another movie to talk about.
Let's hear it.
Okay. The TV show, I've binged 2 seasons. I think it's on its 5th right now.
Oh boy,
BoJack Horseman.
I've heard good
What do you
things.
really?
Yeah, it's slow and it's not like a cartoon I've ever watched before because the jokes barely hit ever. Like it's not a funny cartoon, it's like a drama cartoon. There are jokes like woven in between, but it's a very interesting show to watch. I'll give it that. The first season drags for like 5 episodes and then the story actually kicks in really good. There are some emotional beats in season 2 that are fucked up. Oh my god, BoJack is a horrible human being. But yeah, BoJack Horseman, it grows on you, and if you have enough time to waste,
That's Will Arnett, right?
yeah,
I was gonna
he's
say.
the main guy, and Allison Brie is in it too.
Oh really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I like Alison Brie.
If anybody here knows who Amy Sedaris is,
Off the top of my head.
okay, she's a crazy person. I think she was the girl who did Strangers with Candy. If you ever,
Oh,
heard of
yeah.
that show.
Yeah, that's why the name sounded familiar.
And then Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
He's like a homeless guy or he's not homeless, but he doesn't have a job and he just bums off of BoJack. He lives there.
Of course.
I think I said there's like 5 seasons and I'm not even halfway through yet. So I am super excited to finish.
Very nice.
Mhm.
So what's this last movie?
The last movie I don't think I've talked about. It was in theaters for like a week. I think it's going to be one of my favorite movies of the year.
Okay.
Directed by Jonah Hill.
Oh, the 90s movie.
Mid-90s.
That's right.
This
oh, yeah.
movie has like all of my favorite things when I was in high school just mixed in. Like I was growing up in the mid-90s. I wasn't as old. I might have been as old as the main character, but not the group of kids that he was hanging out with. But this is just about a kid who is probably 8 or 9 and he's trying to figure out his way in life, and he finds skateboarding and a group of kids that go with skateboards and all the just weird shit growing up in SoCal during the mid-90s, and so much nostalgia in this thing. Soundtrack, every fucking song is great. And then there's some songs that I've never heard before, but it was grouped in with a whole bunch of like Wu-Tang
Yeah.
and just a whole bunch of old school 90s hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, I fucking love this song now. This is going to be in my rotation forever.
I remember seeing the trailer for it and some marketing for it, but then once the movie actually dropped in theaters, it stopped.
Well, because it was distributed by A24.
Okay.
And they never have big budgets for their movies, and they either like hit or don't. Like another one of my favorite movies, Hereditary, that was an A24 joint. Like that's the biggest. I think that's the best
Opening for A24?
not best opening, but best run that they've ever had.
Oh,
like
gotcha.
it's made the most money for them.
Gotcha.
Mid 90s, I don't even think it made $10 million.
Wow.
That's why it was only in theaters for like a week
But
and a
critics
half.
were loving it, weren't they?
It's so fucking good, and the emotions are there. And for Jonah Hill to be his first movie,
yeah.
he has a style already, and the whole movie is shot in 4:3.
Right.
So I saw it in theaters, and it takes up like not even half the
Half the
screen.
screen.
Yeah, and it took a little bit to get used to that, but as soon as it does, it's just like all in there. And I loved watching skateboard films as a kid. I was a big fan of Jackass, and skateboarding was a big like thing in that.
Yeah.
And this is just like kind of like pre-Jackass stuff. And so if you're a fan of that, go see this movie, because I know it didn't get a big push, but it's going to be out in digital sometime in January. So go and see Mid-90s. I highly appreciate it. I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Wow.
I loved it quite a bit. It'll be in my top 10 when we talk about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, report to the dance floor. Report to the dance floor. I feel like getting crazy. Do you feel the same? Let go your problems, baby.
All right, guys, let's jump into the main portion of our show, and that's to recap again. We saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is our first animated Spider-Man movie from Sony, and what an outing it turned out to be. But before we gush, I want to ask you guys, what were your expectations going into this movie? And then how did you feel leaving this movie?
So going into the movie, it was getting all of these good reviews, and I was very hyped, but there was something in the back of my mind thinking I might not like this, and I turn out to like it because I love everything Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I don't know. Even if it's a bad movie, I'm still going to have a soft spot for it.
Sure.
Like Spider-Man 3, I still like.
Right.
For the most part, Spider-Man can do no wrong with me.
It's true. Anthony, how'd you feel before seeing it?
Yep, I went in with no expectations. I honestly didn't know a lot about this one. I didn't read the comics. Was more kind of intrigued by all the actors they got to voice in this.
There's a ton.
There really are.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but some of them I didn't even know played the person they played.
Exactly.
Yeah. So no, I was just excited and leaving. I want to go see it again.
Me too.
I really do.
Me 3.
There was I saw the same trailer you did, Jake, after Venom, and then I saw a couple movies before this release, and saw some extended trailers for this movie as well. And I think every time I saw the first one, I was kind of like you, a little like, oh, what's this going to turn out to be? But every trailer I saw after that kept getting better.
But I'm glad that the trailers didn't show everything, because I hate it when trailers do that.
Right.
It might not be good for them box office wise, but it was really good for me in like a movie watching experience.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get there then, because what was you guys' first impressions after this movie wrapped up?
I really hope they make another one.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, I think what you're feeling is, I think everybody who sees this movie probably is feeling the same way, because this movie is so good on so many levels. We end up thinking it was like a 2-hour movie, right?
Yeah.
But it flies by for me.
Yeah.
And don't know if I think I want more animated Spider-Man. Sony pulled off something here that I didn't have trust in Sony prior to this. So when Sony did an animated film with Spider-Man and how this turns out to be, I want this to keep going.
I wrote a review for this that'll be on the YouTube page soon, but I said that the past 5 years with Sony and Spider-Man have not been good at all. This shouldn't work at all. This has so many different variables being thrown at the wall, but they're not trying to stick. They're all just trying to like work together.
Right.
And none of them should work together, but the way that this story is told and the animation style that is out here is phenomenal. Unlike anything you've ever seen, and that's hard to do in 2018.
This literally feels like a love tribute to everything Spider-Man.
And everything animation.
That too.
There's so many good variables going into this.
They could have easily gone like a DreamWorks or Pixar 3D animated look.
Yeah.
And it's still an animated film, but the comic book strip appeal they took to this movie works so well.
This is from the studio that brought you the Emoji Movie. This could have been that.
Could have.
But instead, they make it into a love letter for comic book fans.
Right.
And it could have went wrong so many times, but it does the most perfect thing every single time. It does not veer off pace ever.
Right.
And I was in awe. Like, I thought the ending was going to be bad. I thought it was just going to shit the bed at some point. It never does.
Right. We're going to get a lot of these things, but like you said, animation was great. The voice cast was actually pretty on par. It was really good.
I couldn't find a bad voice actor out of the bunch.
No.
Exactly.
And for an animated movie, again, that's really hard to pull off.
Yeah, and for the tone they try to set with Miles and the setting of New York, music is on point.
Yep.
I thought the music was really good in this.
There were some tracks I didn't like when I was watching the movie. I've
Yeah.
listened to the soundtrack on Spotify, and holy fuck.
Good.
It's good. I mean, there's still some songs that I don't like, but that's my own preference.
Sure.
I like it when a soundtrack throws different things and just, you know, if you haven't heard this song, maybe you'll like this one. You don't have to like all of them to like the whole soundtrack as a whole.
Exactly. And just like the within 2018, the cultural aspect that it takes to Miles and to New York and to paying tribute to each of the multiverse Spider-Mans is just really good. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about some of the animation details they go into later, but it felt really good. It's kind of true to Miles Morales' comics for the most part.
I read comic books from like 2008 to 2012, like pretty much when I was in college, besides freshman year.
Yeah.
And the main Spider-Man book that I read was Ultimate Spider-Man with Miles Morales. I read like the first 18 issues of that. And this movie does a really good job. It doesn't hit every single point, of course, but it does a good job streamlining the first 12 issues of that.
Yeah.
I love movies and I love comic books, especially when they both intertwine to where they can just make up their own history. They can make up anything that they want. And as long as it's good, it doesn't matter if it's new and different.
Before we actually there's a lot of this movie that is covered in the trailer, but it's mostly like the Spider-Verse characters, but not a lot of the story beat is told in the trailer, so a lot we'll have to say in spoilers. But before we actually get there, I want to kind of go over this gigantic, we got a lot to get through here on the cast.
Yeah, please.
Because some names I'm not familiar with, but some of them I'm sure you guys have heard before.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about these.
All right, starring as Miles Morales, we had Shameik Moore.
Oh, the Get Down in Dope. Dope is where it's from. He's the main actor in Dope. Oh. Okay.
Don't forget House of Pain. Remember that show from TBS?
And an Elf Story, The Elf on the Shelf.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, not being familiar with the name, as far as voice acting goes, awesome.
Yeah, no, he was perfect.
Have any of you seen Dope?
No.
No.
Fucking great movie.
Really?
The ending kind of shits the bed, but the movie as a whole is awesome, and he's the main character in that. I knew his name from somewhere. Yeah, awesome. Okay, good. Add it to the greatness of this list.
I do recognize his name. Jake Johnson as Peter Parker.
You want to know where you know it from?
New Girl.
I know him from New
That's
Girl.
Jake.
Oh, you know it from something else.
Do I?
Yeah,
Jurassic
one of your
World.
favorite movies.
Uh-oh.
Jurassic World.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the guy on the computer.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wearing the old shirt.
The nerd guy.
Yep. He's got a shtick.
He does.
Yeah.
We'll go into that character, this Peter Parker, a little bit later.
There's a lot of spoilers to that.
I know. That's all I can say.
Uh-huh. You can't even say...
I know we have another Peter Parker that I can't say.
Yep.
We can't even talk about it.
I know. We'll get back to that later.
Cut that out.
We'll have Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy.
I did not think that was her.
Really?
No.
Oh, I knew immediately. I
See-
love her right now. Like she is.
Where is she from?
Bumblebee. She is
Oh.
True Grit. She
True
started off in True Grit.
She was in Pitch Perfect 2 and
Pitch
3.
Perfect 2.
Okay.
The Edge of 17.
That movie is fantastic.
That's an underrated movie.
Haley Steinfeld is so good.
I always butcher his name. Marshala Ali.
Mahershala Ali.
There we go.
Mahershala?
There we go. Pretty close.
Told you I always butcher it. As Aaron Davis, the uncle.
Oh.
He didn't sound anything like himself in
See,
this
I
either.
knew this
you
one
did?
Too. Well, just because of House of Cards, he plays such a big role
He's
in
in House of Cards?
Yeah, he's a big part in House of Cards.
Oh.
He is.
Okay. I know Mahershala Ali from Luke Cage.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I don't know, like I know he won an Oscar for Moonlight. That's the only two things I know him from.
And he'll be in the new True Detective Season 3.
Yep.
I haven't seen the trailer for that yet.
We had Brian Tyree Henry as Jefferson Davis.
You know what he's from?
Uh-uh.
Atlanta.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And This Is Us.
Oh
Is he
my
from This Is Us?
God. He's not Paperboy in This Is Us. He's Paperboy in Atlanta. All about that Paperboy.
He does. He plays the Miles' father. Another great role.
I did know that one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get a little more into him later too.
He's also in Widows.
All right. We had Lily Tomlin as May Parker.
Miss Frizzle.
She was Miss Frizzle?
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Is that
Okay.
gross?
A little bit, yeah.
No, I've been excited to talk about that one.
Yeah, I did not. Wow.
Right on the Magic School Bus.
That's nuts.
We had Luna Lauren Velez as Rio Morales. That's Miles' mom. She has very few speaking parts in this movie.
Yeah, she's barely in it.
Yeah.
She's in Dexter, right?
Oh, yeah, she's a female, like, head detective.
Yeah.
We had Zoe Kravitz as Mary Jane Watson. Never would have put that
No,
those two
me
together.
either. I was shocked when I found that out.
This next one I did recognize. We talked about it. Was John Mulaney
Oh, John Mulaney.
as Peter Porker.
Yeah, he's, like, hard to not recognize.
Exactly. It's a very distinct voice.
I obviously love him the most right now in Big Mouth.
He's good.
Oh, yeah.
He's very good in Big Mouth.
We had Kimiko Glenn as Penny Parker. She plays an anime-like character in the Spider-Verse. We'll get into a little more later.
Fun fact about Penny Parker
Yeah.
and Spider, her robot.
Yeah.
Do you know who one of the creators was for Penny Parker? The main singer from My Chemical Romance.
Oh, I did read that.
Gerald
yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
Just weird as hell.
I love her in Orange is the New Black.
So.
Oh, no shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And
This
she's
cast
a voice. She's a voice actor in the new DuckTales.
I've watched that, and I still didn't know that.
Lena.
Group decision here. Spider-Man Noir. Is that spoiler? Voice actor?
It was in the trailers.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's Nick Cage.
Yeah,
I
we have
love it.
Nicolas Cage.
I love it.
Spider-Man Noir.
I thought I was going to hate this, but he fits in as like a
God.
1930s crooner like crazy.
I want to hate him in so many things, but I can't.
2018 has been like the reconnaissance of Nicolas Cage, because not only was he in this, he was in Mandy, which I'm hearing he's batshit crazy, but like the best batshit crazy. And he was also Superman in Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Really?
Yeah. So his voice acting game is on point.
I like that.
And I need to see Mandy before I do my end of year list, because I've heard you'll either love it or hate it.
We had Catherine Hahn as Professor Olivia in this movie. We'll have to. She's a little spoiler, but we'll reveal later who she is.
She's funny.
Yeah, I
She's-
again didn't know it was her. I should have. I'm horrible when it comes to picking voice actors in
Really?
the cast. Yeah,
I only know she's from Crossing Jordan.
she's in a
Bad
lot more than
Moms.
that.
She's like Bad Mom.
Yeah,
She's
Step Brothers.
Step Brothers.
John C. Riley's love
gotcha.
interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Catherine Hahn is awesome.
She's funny.
And then this one surprised me. Liev Schreiber
Yeah.
Did not pick him either.
as Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
That I did not put remotely together.
Nope. But again, it's an awesome voice cast.
I like it.
Yeah, that was just the initial voice cast for this movie. There's a lot of actually, I don't even want to call it Easter eggs that are voiced by people with all voice cast. That's a hell of a animated voice cast right there.
Hefty.
Pretty much. I think with all the gushing from the cast and from our intro, I think we just need to get to spoilers. Don't you guys think?
Yes, we do. It's
I
time.
want to really bad.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size. Catches thieves just like flies. Look out. Here comes the Spider-Man.
All right, that was your spoiler warning with the old 60s Spider-Man there. Classic
love it.
clip.
Gotta
We
love
would have
it.
sang it for you, but we're just not on point tonight.
Sorry, guys.
Apologize. All right, that being said, we are in the spoiler section. Guys, we have so much to talk over. I'm not sure if we'll get to everything because there's just so much to tackle here.
Peter Parker dies?
That's right.
It's crazy.
Peter Parker dies in the first half hour of this fucking movie.
Blonde Peter Parker,
Chris Pine Peter Parker.
Chris Pine Peter Parker, gets beat, smashed by the Kingpin.
Yeah, he gets Hulk smashed.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
That was a tone piece right there.
I was shocked when that happened.
To see that on a big screen TV, animated, after years of Spider-Man films, like that was a shocker. And it was actually worked for what needs to happen in this movie.
Just like everything in this movie works.
Yeah, because that kind of launches off our story of how, because Miles is pretty much experimenting with his powers at this point. He
Yeah.
has them,
Mm-hmm.
but we have so much world developing already from like his relationship with his uncle, relationship with his dad, and then just like seeing Spider-Man, who's an established hero at this point. He's like 24, 26 in this movie.
26.
I mean, that first scene where we see the modern day Goblin fighting. Yeah, it's just so refreshing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there has ever been a Green Goblin that has been this interpretation of a Green Goblin.
I don't think
Like,
so.
he was a literal goblin.
Yeah, we was because we had the Green Goblin, we had the Prowler, and now that we're in spoilers, like we had this version of Doc Ock, which was fantastic.
I did like this one.
Yeah.
That one was really good.
Doc Ock's a girl.
Right?
Yeah, and it all takes place within Miles' universe, which is not the one we've actually been in cinema before.
And it's not the one that's been in comics before. Like, they make their own literal, like, Sony Spider-Man Miles Morales universe. It's awesome.
It's fantastic.
It's so cool.
And then let's just go ahead and jump into like the main gist here, and that is the Spider-Verse and where these characters pull from.
Mm-hmm.
We have the old man kind of giving up Peter Parker. I thought this was good.
Yeah, he's letting himself go because he has nothing else to live for.
Yep.
Not only was it sad, but it puts the perfect humorous twist on it because like they give him a little gut and he acknowledges it several times.
Yep.
There's like a little bit with a pizza he's trying to eat, like
Yep.
all that little tone building with this character. So good.
So good.
And if you think about it, the most iconic Spider-Man that we've come to know from cinema as the top tier hero, he's dead. All these other Spider-Mans is something we've never really seen before on the cinema screen.
Yeah.
So it's just great. Not only that, they draw attention to, you know, that Spider-Man because he stopped to train Spider-Man 2. They did these quick movie references that references the old Spider-Man movies, but that
The
character,
upside down kiss
yeah,
is there.
that character died.
Yep.
He's gone.
The way that Spider Sense is in this movie, so good. Like with like the squiggle lines
Yeah,
over
that
their
was-
heads
that
and like
was
slow
cool.
motion starts a little bit.
Right.
So awesome.
We're not going to do it justice here, but we're going to try.
I feel like we're jumping all over. Is there anything else
We
that we
are.
want to talk about before like they start intertwining into this Spider-Verse?
Well, let's go down to like the overall characters, just how we feel about them.
Okay.
Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. She gets introduced before we know that she's Spider-Gwen.
Right.
She's just like at the same school as Miles.
Yep.
I liked how like the interaction and how she turned like she's kind of like this punk, like pretty close. Like they actually slap her comic book cover during this movie, and I think they do that for almost all these Spider-Mans, and they're really good. Spider-Gwen's awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
I've wanted to read Spider-Gwen for the longest time because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Right, and this interpretation of her is actually, we'll get into the post discussion, but it's leading to something. So we'll get to that.
It sure is. But like, you didn't think she'd be able to look any more punk, and then Miles doesn't really know how to use his powers. He just sticks his hand on her hair and rips it off, and then she has like this buzz cut look going on too
Right.
on just side of her head.
We also had kind of humor relief with Spider-Ham. This one was a little like humor / dark humor, because this one had a lot of good scenes of like him eating a ham, like a pork sandwich or whatever it was.
He's Peter Porker. Okay?
I know, but
he does what he wants.
That's him eating himself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's dark. That's weird.
Wasn't he a spider that got bit by a pig, and that's what he turned into?
Something like that. Was a pig getting by a spider.
I don't know. I think that's his backstory though. And every time we get introduced to a different Spider-Man, it shows their origin
Just a
story.
quick. I loved it. It wasn't too much. Like
Yeah,
it was
'cause
just a.
At first they go like we live through Miles's, and then we see Peter Parker, Chris Pine, and then we see the full Peter Parker, fat Peter Parker, and then we see the full Gwen Stacy. And then as soon as we get to like the last three characters, they just do all of them all at once. Like they
Right.
split, like they do Penny Parker, then they do Noir Spider-Man, then they do Peter Porker. And it's just like so fast, but the jokes are still there because one of them's an anime character, one of them is serious as hell, and one of them is a Looney Tunes fucking cartoon.
Right.
Right, and they acknowledge the fact that this movie is pretty much on a meta level because they guess what? Another origin story, real quick.
Yep.
And they've done that 'cause Sony acknowledging themselves.
Well,
hey,
they know we're smart enough to figure this out.
Right.
exactly, and I feel like they're making fun of Amazing Spider-Man 1 because they don't need to tell an origin story again.
Out of all of the different Spider-Man movies, I don't think they acknowledged that series once in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
They even acknowledged the PS4 Spider-Man game in like a costume
Yeah.
that's in that little spider hall, whatever the hell it is that
Right.
anime has. But
One of the characters I really liked because it stayed true to the art form was Penny Parker.
Penny Parker.
Not because of her anime robot connection, but they actually kept her art, the anime art look for her throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
That was very cool. And that was a character I have no history of about.
I don't know if any of you have seen Big Hero 6, but that's pretty much
Love
what
Big
this
Hero
is.
6. Yeah.
We also had Spider-Man Noir. This is actually a very good comic.
Yeah, this is one of the other runs that I've read.
And like they do like during a brief intro they do like a nice montage to that Spider-Man of that time, but then they kind of catch him up to speed of now, and his jokes like how old things are and new things are now kind of land with Nick Cage doing the helm.
This is like the old school Batman version of Spider-Man, pretty much.
Exactly. So throwing all these characters together, like it creates a very awesome dynamic among all these characters, and also how it relates to Miles.
Yeah.
How'd you guys like how that end up playing out with Miles needing to discover his own powers, but all these characters are kind of already established.
I like it because they all know that he has to go through something drastic to learn how to use his powers.
Right, like
and
a
again,
moment.
That's just something meta that we have had decades or close to 2 decades worth of Spider-Man on film.
Right.
So we know how this shit works now.
Exactly.
So they're not holding our hands through this movie. They know that we know. So there's like, okay, this happens. All of these other Spider-Men know that this happens. He has to figure it out for himself.
Right, because at the end of the day, it's still Miles' story, despite all these things going on. It sticks to Miles' story.
Yeah, like at the beginning when he's with the Chris Pine Spider-Man, he doesn't know how to shoot his web yet. He's learning how to do shit, just like we've seen origin stories happen before with Andrew Garfield and with Tobey Maguire. Just we've seen it over and over again.
So there's just so much to unpack here. So let's stick with the story itself. How'd you guys like how they balanced the Spider-Verse comic into this movie here and kind of wrapped it up at the end there too?
I was just in awe that all of this was able to work as well as it did. I think I've said that numerous times today.
Right.
But I feel like I have to say it a lot of times because it's a mini movie miracle that this worked.
Mm-hmm.
It's a balancing act that could have gone very wrong.
I feel like anybody can watch this movie and leave with a smile on their face.
I think so too. There's a lot of great moments that are just buried in, like this movie. This movie just slaps Easter egg after Easter egg, and it also makes meta jokes left and right because it's very self-aware of itself, but still managed able to tell an emotional story. Getting back to Miles and like a relationship to his uncle who ends up being Prowler.
Yep.
Like that's kind of a twist off the Miles story from the comic books.
And I thought this was going to be more fucked up because in the comic books, the Prowler takes advantage of him knowing Miles is Spider-Man.
Right.
This doesn't. This does a very sympathetic reveal / death. Like as soon as he figures out that once he reveals that that's his nephew, he suddenly like doesn't want to kill him anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he's going to save him. Kingpin sees that, kills him.
Bam.
This is pretty much like his Uncle Ben.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's how they play it off as.
And then he has to leave him in the street
Yeah.
as Prowler.
Yeah, because his dad comes.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Like this movie packs an emotional punch that I wasn't expecting either.
Right.
Because animation can do that to you. Like, in my opinion, this packs the emotional punch as like Simba going to Mufasa as he's dying.
Really?
This packs the emotional punch of like the first 10 minutes of Up.
Wow.
Oof.
That scene was like, holy fuck, I did not see this coming in this movie. And I was like, okay, I'm 100% in at this point.
That's
You guys weren't there?
No, I was close, but I'm not sure if I was there.
Yeah, I don't know if
I didn't tear up during this movie.
I didn't tear up either. I don't tear up ever. I'm a weird...
I got teared up during Up. Another point I want to mention real quick, like the emotional tones with Miles and his family. Like it's not really a huge point, but there's some disconnection between his father and how they handle that door scene with the father on one side and Miles on the other.
Yeah.
That was a great, very tone to that relationship, and where
Yeah.
Miles wants to acknowledge what is lacking between him and his dad.
Yeah. Again, this movie doesn't rely on just action or just comedy. There's like some emotional beats that I was not expecting at all.
Right, and it really addresses like real things teenagers probably go through, is like stepping away from their parents and adjusting to that dynamic.
Well, and it's a weird dynamic to begin with. Like he doesn't live at home when he goes to school.
Right.
He's just boarding there. So that's another thing just added on to like teenage angst. You're not at home and you have no idea like where to go to when you're feeling a certain way.
Exactly. And like we even got an emotional story from Wilson Fisk. Not very too common. We see a Wilson Fisk with emotion and driven by the need to see his family again.
Right.
And then he associates his family's death with Spider-Man, which is it works for this movie. That's fine. But Wilson Fisk as a plot driver and villain in this movie, holy hell, what a presence!
Yeah.
Because not only do they show that with his emotions, but this guy's a Hulk. This guy's a gigantic
huge.
blob in
He's
this
a
movie.
giant rectangle of a man.
Yeah, he's tiny little head, giant body.
See, and this is where they can get away with it in anime. I don't know how you would like have a real life cast of Kingpin.
But like Kingpin and Daredevil, it's a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
But like Kingpin in this one, like the animation just allows so much freedom interpretation.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
It
kind of
worked in this.
Yeah, I think I like this better.
Well, I did too.
Exactly. So yeah, all those emotional beats just land, and at the end of the movie, we get a nice emotional beat between Miles coming into himself and letting the rest of the Spider-Verse people go back to their universes. It takes it upon himself to let Peter go fix his life, go fix his universe, but also I'm going to take down Kingpin myself.
And there's such a great moment where it's just Fat Peter Parker. I hate calling him Fat Peter Parker, but
Out of shape, Peter Parker.
Peter B. Parker tries to talk to Miles to try to push him. Like he even like wraps him in a chair so he can't go away, but he grabs him before that and tries to make him use his powers, and he can't.
Yep.
The worst part happened right after, though, for me. And it's where it got super formulaic, but you need to have it in this movie. It's when like he magically knows how to do everything.
Oh,
Miles Morales.
He comes back into his powers really quickly.
Like he knows how to literally do everything. Like throughout the movie, he didn't know how to do like 3 different things. He didn't know how to shoot web. No, he learned how to shoot web, but he didn't know how to do like that shock
invisible.
power.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to become invisible. But then he magically learned how to do all of that in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but once you get past that, his swinging sequence, wow, what a great animation piece. After he goes to Aunt May's spider cave, which awesome, by the way.
Very good.
Love the spider cave.
There's a lot to talk about here.
There's like a bat cave, but for Spider-Man. But he gets his own suit, he sprays it, and then there's just like little like music piece where he's swinging with his new suit.
Yeah.
And it's like everything you saw from the trailer. It just looks fantastic.
Yep.
And all that leads to like a Spider-Man party that Wilson Fisk is hosting.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and that was great because we also got an emotional piece of like, oh, old Peter Parker sees this universe as Mary Jane and he really wants to make things right. So many good things that flow at once.
Yeah.
And they're just in their Spidey outfits and they're the waiters.
Mm-hmm. And I know that Phil Lord and Chris Miller were just producers on this.
Right.
But Phil Lord actually wrote the script for this.
Okay.
And there's a lot of the similar humor to this and Lego Movie, to this and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yep.
Oh, I got that vibe
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was real.
Which I love.
Oh, I do too.
Some of the best stuff. Like they make some of the best movies that have been made in the past 10 years, in my opinion.
We got so much to get to, so
I know.
we've talked about animation, we've talked about the story beats a little bit, the emotional pulls. I would do just a little quick tab of here of all like the Spider-Man love and Easter eggs that went to this film.
Oh, please.
So like for example, we had old Peter Parker, the one from the very beginning, talks about all his marketing deals. He had Spidey O's.
Yeah.
He had the Christmas album, Spider-Man Popsicle. There's even a point where they made fun of Looney Tunes. Yeah, Peter Parker goes away. He says, "That's all, folks." And it's
Yep.
like,
Oh,
can he
right.
say
Can
that?
we say that?
Exactly. And that kind of leads into like some of the end stuff here because we got a very nice touch homage to Spider-Man like 69 or 67, but the old cartoon where we have Spider-Man. This is a big thing here. Spider-Man 2099. So
Oh,
makes
yeah.
makes an appearance post credits.
I knew what that was as soon as like his hand showed up.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God. 2099, I was kind of upset it wasn't in this movie.
Right, but
And
they kind of acknowledge it just in the right way.
Do you know who voices Spider-Man 2099?
I do, and we teased it earlier.
Do you know? Anthony?
No.
Oscar Isaac.
Really?
Yeah. Poe Dameron himself.
Yeah.
So fucking amazing.
And I like how they played it off too, because they very quickly say like, "Oh, there was a threat to the Spider-Verse timeline, but it was fixed." He's like, "Oh, good. I'm glad that was fixed." And I forget who the voice actress is, but there's a AI that's teased in 2099. Like you said, Jake, I want to see that where that goes next, and I think that's a teaser to what could come next.
But at the very end of this movie, before all the end credits stuff, they show Miles Morales laying in a bed.
Yeah.
And they show
Gwen
the
Stacy.
hand of Gwen Stacy kind of reaching out towards him.
Yeah.
Which I've heard Lord and Miller talk about if they do make a sequel, which they're planning on doing. It's going to be based on Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy. It'll
Which
be
would
like
be
a
great.
love story with
Oh, I
them.
do like that.
You didn't talk about a lot of the references because there's so many.
What else come to mind?
Well, the main thing that comes to my mind is the Seth Rogen poster.
Oh yeah, that was
Hold your
mad.
horses.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was so bad.
Which-
Oh my God.
I've watched a lot of interviews with people before since we've had like extra time for this podcast.
yeah.
And how that came about is that they were going to use a different title for a Seth Rogen movie. And they had to call Seth Rogen to get his likeness in the movie. He called them back and he's like, "Hold your horses. I actually might want to use this title."
Oh my God.
Oh
So,
really?
They didn't use that movie and they used the Hold Your Horses title.
It's so dumb.
So fucking good.
We also got like very quick mentions of like the Spider-Mobile, Spider Motorcycle, which is
Yeah.
all just extended lore comic.
Yep.
Among Easter eggs, and probably one of the most important ones was the Stan Lee cameo.
Oh, yeah, we have to
That
talk
was
about
his
this.
voice.
Yeah.
Well, again, another interview that I read. He recorded this VO like less than a week after his wife died.
Yeah.
That's why like there's such an emotional punch, and now there's another layer added onto that because he actually died himself.
Right.
So as soon as that happened, I'm like, God, this is weird. Like when we saw the Stan Lee cameo in Venom, that was weird enough, but that cameo was bad. That was like one of the worst cameos he's ever had.
Yeah.
This is one of the best cameos he's ever done, if not the best.
Yeah, because he's like running a stand shop, right? And it's just selling Spider-Man costumes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he hands him the outfit, and then Miles looks back at Stan, and he's just going with the winky face.
But he shows up right after Peter Parker died.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's this weird just film all over everything. It's just like, ugh. I was so weirded out, and so like this seems like bad taste, but this also seems like the best way to use Stan Lee in this moment.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, Spider-Man was his favorite.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It just felt very weird.
and it was our first rendition of an animated Stan Lee. Cinema side.
Cinema
Yeah,
animated.
cinema
yes.
side. We'll give him that.
Correct.
I think that's kind of most of the Easter eggs I kind of wanted to touch on with you guys. The last thing I want to mention, and not sure if credible to speak on it, is just the cultural diversity that went into all this movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our animation, music, and just like the real life workings of a teenager. I thought that was like one of the best parts of this movie.
And you know what's weird?
What's that?
I'm not hearing anybody talk about that.
I know, right?
Which I'm hoping that's because we've come so far, especially like after Black Panther, where that was like the main thing that happened, to where it's
Exactly.
not a big deal anymore.
In a year of 2018 where Black Panther had such an impact,
Yeah.
an Avengers superhero had just a ginormous impact, not only with culture, but just the genre in general.
Yeah.
So we have this movie to wrap up the year. Like, I thought just there was a lot of love that went into taking care of, like, portraying things correctly, not necessarily giving too many stereotypes play here as far as male and females go. But, yeah, all the beats that need to hit with the bad vibes that could go into a movie, you don't get that here. It's just a perfect homage to teenagers, to culture, and to a series that we've grown to love, and gives it a nice fresh taste on it.
Absolutely.
So I just thought that was worth mentioning.
Yeah. And really, there's not a lot to talk about because they do all of it right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And they don't make a big deal about it either.
No, it's just life.
Mhm.
That's how the world is, and that's how Spider-Man interacts in this world.
It's pretty much perfect.
They have they had a nice, I forget what it is, but a nice homage to, like, it's not about how you like wear the mask, but something along those lines.
Anyone can wear the mask. That's what it was.
That's it. Yeah, anyone can wear the mask. So yeah, just
I
nice.
think Stan Lee says that.
Is that what he says in the shot?
I
Maybe.
think that's what he says.
Yeah,
that might be.
And then they reiterate that at the end of the movie.
that's true. Because I think Peter Parker says it too.
Yep.
One of the Peter Parkers says it. Despite all those things being said, we actually got to wrap up this conversation.
No.
I know. We could keep going. But we're going to take it out of spoilers. We're going to jump into the review portion of our show. We got some more things to gush about, but we're going to
Okay,
keep it
good.
spoiler free. Real quick, though, let's just go over some numbers and highlights from this week, from the opening weekend for Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man opening weekend pulled in $35 million. That is against a $90 million budget.
I know. It makes me sad. Like, I feel like this movie, with any movie, it makes its most money on the opening weekend. But the next weekend, this movie's going to get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because next weekend, Aquaman comes out, and
Yeah.
Mary Poppins Returns comes out, and Bumblebee comes out. Like, this will be number 4 at best.
And things are going to get shoved off the cinema lineup.
And that makes me fucking sad. I don't think it's going to make its money back in the States. It might overseas, like it might total. I think overseas it's made like $55-60 million.
No, it's not even that.
It's not? What is
No,
it?
that's the sad part.
Oh, no.
So
John.
domestically, it's at, as of right now, we're filming on December 17th.
Yeah.
As of right now, domestic is $38 million.
Yeah.
And foreign's only $20 million.
Yeah, so together.
Yeah, together though.
That's what I meant. So worldwide, it's made about $60 million.
Yeah.
That's a fucking bummer.
I think if we break even, we'll be lucky.
Yeah. And I know that they're even talking about doing sequels to this movie, and I hope it gets there, or I hope Sony has enough faith in this movie to know how good it is.
Yeah.
And to just like say, okay, this one was just the beginner. Hopefully they catch it on home video, and then the next movie will be big.
Yep.
I'm really hoping.
In a
and
perfect world.
I've never wanted a sequel. I can't remember the last time I wanted a sequel so bad as I want one of this. Yeah.
I just want to know where they could go next.
I don't need a Secret Life of Pets 2. I want a Spider-Man
I'm
Into the
done with
Spider-Verse
Secret
2.
Life.
it's a little bit different twist with the animation of Spider-Man. This is the lowest pulled in Spider-Man cinema.
That's sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Despite the not so great box office numbers, the critics are loving this movie. Like Rotten Tomatoes right now, 97%.
Yeah.
Before some other views came in, this was sitting at 100. And audience scores at 95.
It has a cinema score of an A+.
Yeah.
And usually when a cinema score is an A or above, the box office doesn't drop that much. But I'm still nervous. I'm
I
still
know.
fucking nervous. This movie needs to make at least $100 million in the States in order for it to be a success in Sony's eyes, I feel.
Metacritic right now for Spider-Man in the Verse is sitting at 87. Just slightly lower, but I think it's probably a little more aggravated.
Not bad for an
views there.
animated movie, though.
No.
Yeah, especially one that's about, a series that's been dived in plenty of times before.
Yep.
All right, that being said, guys, we got to rate Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse here at Super Media All-Stars. I'll go ahead and kick it off. I'm not sure if it's a fair comparison, but I find myself comparisons, and we'll probably get into this a little bit, in comparison to other animated movies, but also the other Spider-Man films.
I think that's more than fair.
And I think you guys will maybe might echo this, but this has become one of my favorite Spider-Man films. Easily. Between the music, the animation, the story being told, and the love that went into the Spider-Man lore, there's just so many pieces of this puzzle that just fit perfectly together. And it didn't have to. It probably shouldn't have, as well as it did, but it does. I think this is going to be one of my top 10 movies of 2018. Really thought hard about this, but it's a 4.5 for me. Nearly a perfect movie, and I think the only reason it's not, the ending was a little lackluster, a little predictable. Yeah, 4.5.
I like where you went with that. I started comparing it to other animated movies. Obviously, probably the biggest animated fan sitting at this table. I don't know. That might be a stretch, but
I think you and I are close.
I obviously love animated movies, and so this one fit in just perfectly just because I love Spider-Man 2. I've got to give it a 4.5. The voice acting was great. I loved the animation. I loved the dynamics between the Spider-Mans.
Right on the same line as I am, that maybe this goes up to a 5 once I watch it again.
Maybe. That might exactly be
'Cause
where I'm sitting.
5s from me are classics.
Yep.
There are some ones that stand the test of time. And there's some time references in this movie.
Yeah.
Jake, what are you feeling?
I'm sitting here grinding my teeth.
Yeah?
Not only is this, I'm just going to say, not only is this my favorite superhero movie of 2018,
Yeah?
this is my favorite Spider-Man movie ever.
Okay.
This is a damn good animated movie. We didn't talk about the different types of animation styles that much,
Yeah.
and I was just in awe. All of it worked together, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life on film. I'm giving this a 5 out of 5. The story might be cookie cutter, but they did everything great. And I can nitpick a few things, but I don't think those nitpicks will get in the way of my rewatch value, of the enjoyment that I'll have anytime that I watch this movie. I'm so glad that I went to see this in theaters because it's a fucking sight to see. And I'm glad I saw that in the biggest screen that we could have possibly seen it.
I agree.
I fucking love this movie, and I can't really see any negative, or the negative definitely go out of the way to the positive.
Sure.
This is something special.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. It's just so many good things to say. If you saw it, please comment, because this movie needs hype. I think people need to keep talking about it if people are going to go see it in theaters.
Please spread the word. If you have seen this movie and you like it, please tell anyone you know to see it. Like, normally we have a group chat of a whole bunch of people that go on this podcast.
Right.
And as soon as I saw it and I got home, I'm like, if you haven't seen this movie, go see this movie. Please see this movie. You need to see this movie.
Right.
Because it is so fucking good.
And as fans of entertainment here, but it goes into like a rule across the world, and you support things with your wallet.
Yep.
So support this movie. I think it's a good endeavor on Sony's part. All right, guys, let's jump into the last portion of our show. And we got a special guest with us, and that would be Abby Boston. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Abby's going to be handling our trivia tonight as Brent, our trivia wizard, is out. Boo. So Abby's got a little surprise for us. Abby, what do you got in store?
Well, we have coined this one the Spider Quiz. Spider Quiz.
Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. He's a quiz.
The first, there are categories.
Okay.
So I've done comic book Spider-Man, movie Spider-Man, and finish the line.
Ooh.
Okay.
Finish the line, Spider-Man?
Yes.
There's different dimensions in these questions.
Oh, boy.
Fancy.
All right, awesome. So each of us for ourselves.
Yep. Who wants to start?
We get to, it's a point each,
Yeah, why not?
and we get a chance to steal, or just
Yeah, like if someone gets it wrong, then it just goes
All right.
around.
I'm not keeping score.
We'll keep our own
Those
score.
scores.
Deal.
You got it.
All right, I'll take the first one here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
good.
And I have a little factoid at the end of most.
And we're
Some
gonna-
are just blatant. This is the answer, so I didn't have a fact with it.
That works.
Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm always okay to learn something during my trivia.
Me too.
Okay, so number 1 for John.
Da-da-da.
Who was the first supervillain Spider-Man ever encountered?
This is the comics.
Yes. A. Green Goblin. B. Terrible Tinkerer. C. Dr. Octopus. D. Supercharger.
I'm gonna go Green Goblin.
It is D. Supercharger. So, in the Amazing Fantasy number 18, Spider-Man battled Supercharger, the living battery.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Previously, he had just battled mostly small-time crooks.
spiders don't like electricity. That's a fact.
Yep. Is it? Well, I learned something today, Jake. Quiz.
Which character bullied Peter Parker in high school? A. Flash Thompson. B. J. Jonah Jameson. C. Biff Tannen. D. Robbie Robertson.
I think that would be A. Flash Thompson.
You are correct.
Ding,
Flash
ding, ding,
Thompson
ding.
was a star football player who mercilessly bullied his high school classmate Peter Parker, but greatly admired Spider-Man in an irony in which the superhero took some great gratification.
Quiz. All right, so Jake's on the board with 1 point.
Nice.
Anthony,
All right.
when Spider-Man was first offered membership in the Avengers, he was required to catch what superpowered being as a test? A. Dr. Doom. B. Kang the Conqueror. C. The Wasp. Or D. The Hulk.
Oof.
Yeah, shot in the dark here.
Yeah, good luck, bud.
Let's just go the Wasp.
That's what I thought as well, but you're wrong.
Damn.
I'm gonna go the Hulk.
You are correct.
Nice.
He's a
I
big
was
boy.
just about to say, it probably wasn't a bad person.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
In the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 3, Spider-Man was offered membership to the Avengers if he could capture the Hulk and return him to the Avengers headquarters.
Because he's angry.
Although he did manage to capture Hulk, Spider-Man was suspicious of what the Avengers wanted with the green-skinned monster. Feeling pity for the creature, Spider-Man decided to release him instead, turning him over to the Avengers, thus failing the test.
All right, so after round 1, Jake and I are on the board with 1 point.
Damn straight.
Quiz. All right, we're going into round 2.
All movie questions.
God, I hope I do better here.
What role has Stan Lee not played in a Spider-Man movie?
Ooh.
Have fun.
A. The librarian. B. A street vendor. C. A security guard. Or D. An annoyed neighbor.
B, street vendor.
You are wrong.
I'm going to say security guard.
You are correct.
Damn.
I was going to say it.
He played a security guard in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Good.
Dang.
That's where I remember it from.
Dang.
Very good.
Good job.
Ooh, now it's my question again.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Quiz.
Which of these had the biggest box office gross worldwide?
Oh, no.
A. Spider-Man 2. B. The Amazing Spider-Man 2,
No.
C, Spider-Man 3, or D, The Amazing Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 3.
Nice.
With over 890 million, Spider-Man 3 is still the highest grossing movie, at least as of July of 2017.
Sure.
Quiz. All right, back to Anthony.
Yep.
Okay. Spider-Man 2 won an Oscar, but what for? Was it A, Best Kiss? B, Best Visual Effects? C, Best Costume Design? Or D, Best Sound Editing?
I'll go visual.
You are correct.
Nice. Anthony gets on the board.
About
Very
time.
nice. So after a round 2, Jake has 3.
Yep.
And me and Anthony have 1. Quiz.
So I feel like here's where the hard part's going to come in. I tried to make some
no.
super easy. So we're going to go to the guess that line portion
Oh, boy.
of the game.
As long as there's multiple choice, I have a chance.
There's no multiple
That was the only way I was making it.
I'm done for.
I tried to pick some very popular lines, everybody.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So, in Spider-Man 2002, this was a conversation between Mary Jane and Spider-Man. She asked, "Who are you?" Spider-Man says, "You know who I am." Mary Jane, "I do?" And then Spider-Man says, Your
neighborhood-friendly friend.
You're so close. So it's okay.
Let's go around once. Okay, because I was gonna guess your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
that is correct.
Okay, I knew something dumb like that.
Did we not just talk about this on our last podcast?
Not that part.
I thought Brent just had that question.
It wasn't that line though.
Oh.
No, it wasn't that to a T.
No.
Quiz.
Okay, you ready for this one?
Let's do it.
Okay, this one is between Peter Parker and Aunt May.
In the same movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I do anything for you? Asked Peter Parker. Aunt May, you do too much. College, a job, all this time with me. ...
I think he said something about another superhero. I think she's like, "You're not Superman." Is there more?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh no. You're not Superman, you know.
That is correct.
Oh my god.
Good.
I thought we said this wasn't catered.
Just guessing. I'm usually horrible with quotes.
Quiz.
Okay, this one sucks. I'm so bad.
We can just skip it. All right, go.
Okay, so this is from 2004's Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's between Mary Jane and Spider-Man. Mary Jane, Peter, I'm getting married. Spider-Man, I've always imagined you getting married on a hilltop. MJ, who's the groom? And then Spider-Man says,
Oh boy. Well-groomed, handsome gentleman.
no.
That's kind of what I thought.
Sorry.
My hero. I have no idea.
It was me.
No.
Okay.
Someone tall, dark, and handsome.
So Spider-Man says, you haven't decided yet.
I would have never
Because
guessed.
No.
he's hoping that she still decides to marry him instead.
He's wrong.
Big pussy.
He makes no money. He delivers pizzas.
Quiz. So after round 3,
Yep.
we're back to Jake with
5.
5. Me and Anthony with 1 still.
Woo!
We're still in here.
Are we?
Yeah, sure.
You can tie if I don't get anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back to a little bit of the comics.
Perfect.
There's only 2 questions left in each category.
Sure.
So it's not going to be even anymore.
That works.
What did Spider-Man bring home from the first Secret Wars?
Oh boy.
A new costume? A keychain? A new girlfriend? Or the alien flu?
I'm gonna say the alien flu.
You would be wrong.
Dang.
Okay. I was in between A and D, so I think is it a new costume?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna guess that it was the
Spider-Man brought a new black costume back from the Secret Wars. Unfortunately, his nifty new threads turned out to be an alien symbiote that wanted to bond with him permanently.
I did know that.
With Mr. Fantastic's help, Spider-Man was able to separate himself from the costume, apparently feeling a little rejected. The symbiote would eventually bond with Eddie Brock and become the dangerous supervillain known as Venom.
All right, so Jake jumps to 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's over.
made Anthony looking pretty bad. Quiz.
Okay, I get the last comic book question.
Okay. What was the first Spider-Man spin-off series? A. Marvel Team Up. B. Untold Tales of Spider-Man. C. Sensational Spider-Man. Or D. Spectacular Spider-Man.
I'm going to go with Marvel Team Up.
You're wrong.
Damn it.
I'll go Untold.
You are also wrong.
That's Spectacular Spider-Man.
You are correct.
There it is. Yay.
Anthony, I gave
I
it to you.
I know, but I didn't want to steal it like that.
He should have. John just did.
Do you want to hear my little tidbit?
Yeah,
Let's
of
hear it.
course.
Okay. The Spectacular Spider-Man was a proto-graphic novel designed to appeal to older readers. It only lasted 2 issues, but it was represented the first Spider-Man spin-off publication.
What's this Spider-Man?
He looks spectacular.
Quiz. All right, so we're out of comic book questions?
Yes. So we are down back to the movie
Dun, dun, dun.
related questions.
Anthony gets the last time. Oh, no. Two more movie questions.
Yes, 2 more.
All right, sweet.
So Anthony, okay. Which movie was the most expensive to make? Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, or Spider-Man 3?
Spider-Man 3.
I think that's correct.
You are correct!
Nice. I was going to say I had a lot of visual effects.
Made with a budget of $258 million.
That's insane.
That is insane. Quiz.
So last question in the movie category.
Oh, boy.
I feel like it's pretty easy.
You say that.
So chill.
I biffed it so far.
In which U.S. city did they film Spider-Man Homecoming? A. Miami. B. Austin. C. Atlanta. D. San Francisco.
I want to say Atlanta.
You would be correct.
Nice.
Way to go.
Yep.
I was going to say, like, all of the Marvel movies
these are
were
pretty much
in
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
So, wait. To recap here, Jake, you're at
6.
6. I'm at 3 now, and Anthony's at 2.
Yay.
There's been progress. Quiz. Are we down to the last 2 questions?
We are down to the last 2, and it is back to
Movie quotes.
Oh, boy.
Glad that's. I still get one more of
Uh-huh.
those.
I'm so excited.
from, again, Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
This is between J. Jonah Jameson
Okay.
and a garbage man. I'll give you $50 for it. Garbage man. 50? I can get much more on eBay. And then J. Jonah Jameson. Fine. Give this man.
Give this man $100 and a handshake.
Ooh, very close, but no cigar.
Damn it.
I'll just give him $100.
No.
Okay.
$100 in a T-shirt.
Yeah. So Jake and John were the closest, but it is give this man $100 and a bar of soap.
Trash man humor.
Yeah.
Classic J.
Come on, Jonah. Quiz. All right, this last one's for Anthony.
Hooray.
Okay. This one is actually from 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming.
Stand a chance.
And it is between Peter Parker and Aaron. Everyone else may know him as Childish Gambino, Donald Glover.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Peter Parker. That's going to dissolve in 2 hours. Aaron. No. Come fix this. Peter Parker. 2 hours. You deserve that. Aaron. I've got blank.
Got places to be.
Sorry. No.
John.
My nephew's birthday party.
No.
I've got groceries in the car.
Close.
What is it? It's something really. I knew that.
I've got ice cream in here.
God damn it! I knew it had something to do with groceries.
So after 3 rounds, Jake comes on top with how many points did you rack up?
I just had 6.
6?
Yeah.
Anthony, what did you rack up with?
That was 2.
And I had admirable 3. I'm going to call it an admirable 3.
There you go.
Congrats, Jake, with the win.
Good job.
That means together we did pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
11
also,
out,
probably
11 out of
done that
15.
together.
11 out of 15 ain't bad.
we know our spider universe decently well.
I would hope so. We've seen all of
That's a
them.
B. It's a B in spider testing.
I'll take a B.
And that has been Abby's, what'd you call this?
Spider quiz. Spider quiz.
Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. Quiz. He's a quiz. Look out! All right, guys. That being said, that's been episode 68 of So Many All Stars. You can find us on all kinds of social media. You can find us on Facebook at So Many All Stars. You can find us on Twitter at SmessPod.
You can find Anthony's asshole stinking up the place.
Thank you, Anthony, for that ending. You can find us on Instagram at So Many All Stars.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Steelbook Obsessed. Not too long ago, I got followed by the actual Steelbook account,
Dun, dun, dun.
and they actually reposted one of my pictures.
Very good.
I feel very official now, and it made me feel like way better than what I should have made, because they have like 17,000 followers. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, if they like me, I feel good about my site. So
Feel verified.
a little bit,
Yeah, I understand that.
felt very good. You can find my review of this movie, my written, like, it's gonna be like 3-minute review, over on Cinema Obsessed. I had that one, and I also put a video up for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nice.
So go check that out.
Check out So Many All Stars on all your major podcasting services: Apple, iTunes, Google Play, anywhere except for Spotify. You can find So Many All Stars. And I'll give another shout out real quick again to Riley Briggs for the updated graphics and for our Smash gameplay. If you haven't checked out our Smash gameplay yet, check that out. A lot of fun there. All right, but guys, I thank you for joining me. Audience, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Game over, man. Game over.
Bye bye.
I am out of here.